am here today with Lian Price, who is a 14-year master fitness trainer. Um, she has over 100,000 followers on TikTok where she shares fitness and mindset tips and brings a unique vibration to her industry. In my opinion, her energy is a breath of fresh air in the fitness world, and she leads with love. She's helping people all over the world to move into a more fit human experience where they can love their body. So, welcome, Lian. Thanks for taking time to chat with me.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you for the intro. That was
Yes, yeah. So I wanted to bring you on here because, in the world of personal growth, we have just some great minds. We have, there's people who have mastered the vibration of money, right? Not the strategies, but the vibration. Great strategies will always flow from being in the right vibration. We have people who've mastered the vibration of love and aligned partnership. And from the moment I met this woman, it was really clear to me that she is someone who has mastered the vibration of fitness. She is that person, and she doesn't just rely on one strategy for decades to maintain her fitness. She maintains the frequency of fitness, and from there, she's always able to find her way to fitness, even when circumstances change, whether that's an injury, a surgery, or we'll get into this. But a while back, she gained some weight on purpose, and to me, that's the ultimate credibility in having mastery in the frequency of something, because being able to find your way back when your circumstances change, that shows that, when you're in the right frequency, you're not tied to a certain strategy, or you're not tied to the outside world looking a certain way. You can intuitively always be guided to what's going to work for you because you have mastered that frequency. And so Lian has tons of videos and content on a lot of the behaviors and mindset tricks and tips. She even has a meditation for abs in her new app. But what I want to focus on here is the energetics. So a lot of my clients are really going to get a lot out of this, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there who hopefully will find this video who want to learn about the vibration of fitness. I know that every time I talk to Lian or watch one of her videos online, I move into a certain frequency where I just feel different in my body. So I wanted to do this interview so that anyone watching can get into a space where they are meeting that vibration of fitness, kind of having that meeting of that vibration and just remembering, like, oh yeah, this is just a vibration. From this vibration, all the aligned actions are going to naturally follow. So
Yes.
in my work with clients on with my energy work, a lot of my programs, we work with David Hawkins' scale of consciousness, where we see that some of the emotions like shame and guilt and fear that hold a low frequency, those vibrate really slowly, while vibrations of love and joy and peace have a higher frequency.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to fitness, in some instances, I know that a person can be motivated by, shame or guilt or fear. But when it comes to sustaining a fit body long term, do you find that it's more helpful to be motivated by those higher vibrations, or can a person use any emotion as fuel?
Yeah, that's such a great question, Jackie. So the first part of that is really it's your body, your choice. So you can use whatever you want to get whatever result you want. And that's like the beauty of it. It's your decision.
Mhm.
Um, However, we get to look at the short-term and long-term results, consequences, whatever you want to call them, of using those different vibrations and getting into those different frequencies and then directing them at a goal. So, can you lose weight and get and look like a fit person and I guess by all, intents and purposes, be fit in a lower vibration? Like what comes to mind always for me, and I'm not bashing her because I personally love her, but Khloe Kardashian's Revenge Body show. Remember that show, Revenge
Yeah.
Body? The premise is like getting getting fit and losing weight from a place of revenge, from a
Mhm.
place of I want to show this person or this circumstance, whatever, XYZ. And it's empowering in one sense. I saw how empowering that can be for somebody. But yes, we do get to question how high or low is the frequency of revenge. So the short-term benefit or the short-term possibility of losing weight from self-loathing, self-hatred, shame, guilt, any of those things, very high. You can absolutely get the job done. You can lose weight that way. But I look at what are the long term consequences of that? What does that do in terms of creating a more acidic environment internally, wreaking havoc long term. If that comes to be the vibration that you find to as your set point to get to where you need to go long term, that can be very detrimental. When you build in that habit, you know, it's going to be that much more difficult to turn that ship in another direction towards a different habit, like getting
Yeah.
fit from a space of joy and pleasure.
That makes sense. You know, what that makes me think of is, so when we're talking about the scale of vibrations, shame being the lowest, and then guilt and fear and anger. Sometimes what I've learned is that anger can be a high for a person who stays in shame
Totally.
all the time. So
Totally.
like with the revenge body, it's like if I'm just in shame, at least that revenge, it's a higher
Yes.
vibration than the shame. So it gets you out of the shame. And then
Yes.
what I notice with some of the stuff you post is you're calling people, you're beckoning them into a place of love. I can really feel that from the work you're doing. It's like, hey, you're already perfect. Like, let's do this so we can love our body. Let's do this so we can enjoy our life, so that we can have peace
Yes.
when we do things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to make the like delineation here. Anger in its purest form is a potent, powerful, wonderful emotion, and it's often tied to love.
Mm.
I just heard a quote recently. It was like in a reel or something, and it was great. And I'm not going to be able to quote it perfectly, but it would like anger coming through your body sometimes is your self-love coming through and saying, no, this isn't
Yeah.
okay anymore. But
Yeah.
but yeah, when anger gets convoluted and turned into aggression on others or turned into, self-hatred on yourself, then we're working from a state of mind and we're not tuned into the body. And then there's more of a potential for getting injured.
Mhm. Yeah, today it's funny, I was at Orange Theory today, which we've talked about. Um, but I was there, and there was a situation that happened with just administratively where I got put on the wrong thing, won't go into that, but I just was pissed. And I noticed that I was halfway through the workout and I had been going faster and harder than I usually do, because I wasn't even thinking about the fact that I was working out. I was just like processing energy basically.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
No,
So,
that wasn't.
like I said, like when I'm around you and you talk about fitness, it's not always, your energy around it is positive. It feels like fit is just where you live. And so, what I would really, really love to share with people is, you know, to be in the frequency of anything is to ask, what are the thoughts I'm having? What are the emotions I'm holding? What are the patterns that I'm in? What are the thoughts, emotions, and patterns of a fit person? So I kind of want to just give our listeners an attunement to your energy, so
Yeah.
that just by listening to the sound of your voice as you describe your reality, they can get a download of this vibration.
Love that. Let's pull back the curtain. Let's do it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, first question, what does a fit person believe about food? What are the beliefs a fit person has about food?
Hmm. It's irrelevant.
Okay.
It's irrelevant and it's important at the same time. So maybe breaking that down further, no one piece of food, no one meal, no one, call it a mistake, a cheat meal, whatever it is, matters. It
Yes.
doesn't matter. It's only it's like what we believe about it. It's the meaning we give it. It's what we then take and then like create a belief about ourselves from. And always remembering that that food that you think is bad is never going to be as powerful as your body.
Oh,
So that
I
food is not going to
love
do
it.
something to your body.
I feel a big
Your
collective sigh out there in the world, and I feel like people can recognize that's true, that is the truth, right? Versus you'll hear a lot of people who will say like, here, this thing has all the power. You're either tougher than this, or it's discipline, all this stuff. This is bad, this is good, but it's such a different frequency that a person who's in the frequency of fitness believes that to be true about food, versus somebody who's in the frequency of fear
Mhm,
believes something totally different.
mhm. Yeah,
I
because
love that.
your body is first. It's like the alpha and the omega, and everything all after follows. But your body it's the isness. The core is the body, and then everything else is just a player. But like this is the arena. So the food comes in, and this has to do with positive or negative. So like I made a TikTok video about cleanses and how like nothing can detoxify your body. There's
Right.
no such thing as a detox. Your body detoxifies itself.
Yeah.
So if you eat like, I don't know, McDonald's French fries. I don't want to demonize anything. I don't want to like put a
Right, because
stigma
it's
on anything.
meaningless.
But I'm trying to like, okay, let's say Cheetos. I think Cheetos are pretty bad. Let's take some Cheetos.
Yeah.
So two things I want to say with that. Your body takes in the Cheetos, and if you are holding like from your space, from your frequency, the body is going to do what it needs to do to process and metabolize those Cheetos or store them or whatever, break them down. And it's all about what your body does with it. And then what was I going to say with that? If you're holding a certain belief about yourself and then about the Cheetos, I would warrant that there is a possibility that you can do more healthy, you can do more good with your body with the Cheetos if you feel very, very positive about that snack than someone else is going to do with a carrot stick if they're just like in a really, really, really low place.
Ugh,
That's some woo-woo stuff. I know that's really going out there.
no,
I've
it's so
had all types of
true.
training.
It's so true because again, I really want to reiterate, like, when you're in the frequency of a very fit person, this is how you think about food. This is what food feels like and
Yeah.
your beliefs around food.
So that's the first part. And like we can, if you want to, we can go more into the biology and the biomechanics of like food and digestion, or we can also go back into the emotionality, which is like, what are you believing about yourself from that meal? So if I eat something crazy, I don't think any differently about myself. I don't spin into shame and guilt and fear and doubt and, oh my God, what does that mean? Like, oh, I'm going to gain. No, because I know that I know that I know who I am and what my body is and what it's capable of. And I'm not nervous or living in fear that I'm going to gain weight, because it's a combination of like knowing who you are, but then also having the knowledge that you collect and always being in the work of collecting that knowledge, but then holding it loosely. You know, oftentimes we'll see someone like, oh, they must be really fit. And they've locked themselves to one specific ethos, like CrossFit or like paleo or low carb, or like they've locked in on the thing and they identified with that thing instead of identifying with them,
Right.
who they are. They are more powerful than CrossFit. They are more powerful than the ideology of paleo. So hold it loosely, take the information in, take what you want, leave what you don't, and then like move forward into the future and always be ready to shift and change as your needs shift and change.
Right. Well, and so it kind of feels like in order to hold that belief, you have to have a lot of trust in your body. There has to be a belief that your body is doing what it's supposed to do. There has to be a belief that your body knows how to process something. Right.
Yes.
And do you find that working with people, that's hard to undo beliefs that are counter to that? Like a lot of people probably hold beliefs like my body won't release this weight. My body doesn't process this food, or my body doesn't XYZ happens when I eat ABC, right? How do
Yeah.
you work with people when they don't believe that their body's capable of it?
Yeah. Well, there's two different conversations that can be like with what you're talking about, can be in that category. One is if a person is in a lot of pain, and
Mhm.
then it's harder to talk about these higher reaching things like, you know, what belief am I creating about myself by, you know, this broken leg? That's a whole different way and style to treat that conversation and to be with that person during that experience. And we can definitely go into that if you want to. We can talk
Right.
about, because I've been there, and excruciating pain has to be treated a certain way,
Mhm.
and going through that in a certain way to get out on the other side and, you know, make it. But if we're not in pain and we just have a belief that our body won't release weight, like you said, or we'll never have the muscle tone we want to have, what I do is I just go back to wherever that originated. So much happens in childhood, right? We
Mhm.
pick up so much along the way. When you're born, when you're an infant, you are fit, right?
Right.
Most of us, when we're little kids, we're super fit.
Mhm.
But life occurs and we just take stuff on and we just carry it with us and we keep
Mhm.
going, and that's it. So it's like if you can sit with Can I give you some examples to help?
Yeah.
Okay. So I lay out the 5 lifestyle factors, right? I always kind of start there and then we like dive into which tunnels there are applicable. So if we want to like figure out why we're looking, feeling, or um, performing a certain way, look at the 5 lifestyle factors first. So outside of our genetics and any medication we're taking, these are kind of the gold standard. It's your hydration, your water, your nutrition, your exercise, your sleep, and your stress levels, and your management of those. Those are the 5. So I'm looking through all of these. I had a client who she was crushing 4 of the 5, and the one she could not get to was the water,
Mm,
and she had like a few pounds left, and it was just inflammation, it was just water weight. Her body was trying to manage its pH because she was so dehydrated and therefore so
wow.
acidic. Yeah, but she was already like, she looked great, but she had this goal and it was just like a little bit leaner. um and we just traced it back, and she has a memory when she was a kid of being, she was either a kid or a tween, and she was in the hospital for, I don't remember what, but she was in there for a while, and the nurse used to force her to chug water, and so she
Wow.
likened that memory to like pain and fear, and it was a
Right.
horrible time in her life, so she was scared of doing any more than like little sips of water.
Oh, wow. And then you'd just be holding all this energy around like, no, I don't want, my body doesn't want water. My body doesn't want water.
100%, it's
Wow.
scary.
Wow, interesting. That's, a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk to you about today too is how, childhood programming. How does childhood programming affect a person's ability to just easily move into the frequency of fitness?
Oh my God. Childhood programming, um, ancestral ties, the beliefs that go with the genetics. I mean, it's it's not, I don't want to say it's everything, but it's so much.
Yeah.
I had another client, she was born and raised in Poland and then came over here when she got married. And she had a memory of her grandmother always like telling her when she was like 5 or 6 years old that her legs were too big and they
Mm.
looked like cottage cheese, and that was really bad because like a man would never think she was attractive, and
Right.
she was like a kid. And so
Right.
guess what, she grows up and she hates her legs and she's extremely self-conscious because she wasn't releasing that belief, and
Right.
she's holding it and fighting against it, and now you're like matter on matter, right, like as Joe D says.
Right. Yeah, there's so many. I mean, I work with clients a lot on, what are my blocks to fitness? And a lot of the times there's certain blocks to taking action and there's certain blocks to just even thinking something's possible just because of their worthiness. There's a lot of worthiness energy from mom or from dad or from wherever. Do you come across that in your work as well?
100%. There's so many times when a parent unwittingly gives their child such a complex, such a body image issue when they're trying to help, but they do the opposite. When they get their child calorie counting at a young age, or, you know, tell their child like that they weigh too much when they're like young or whatever it is, that can be. Have you ever seen that where a kid is like
Oh, yeah.
dieting early on and then it gets worse and worse instead
Well,
of because it's always
and
focused.
I work with clients too who they'll have that kind of programming, and so as an adult, they'll try to swing the pendulum the other way. I'm counting nothing. I'm not going to pay attention. I'd never have to worry about what I eat because I was always so controlled with it. Like they rather than collapsing the polarity, they just go back from one pole. So it's strict, 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 and then it's binge, 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 and then it's like, you gotta kinda collapse the polarity, clear
Yes.
the blocks so that you can clear the backswing, so
Yeah.
that you can just transmute all of this and,
Yes.
be one with
Yes.
your body, be intuitive.
And there you are again. It's like you said, it's still controlling you, it's just in a different way. And at the end of the day, it's with the mind. You
Right.
know, I think when you're talking about like let's see if people can feel into the frequency from what I'm saying, like how does a fit person feel about exercise?
Yeah.
Can we do that one?
Yeah, how does a fit person feel about exercise?
Yeah. So this will tie into what we're talking about. So exercise is like it's like pleasurable. It's like if this is okay to say, it's like making love to yourself. And Arnold
Right.
actually says that in the gym. Arnold talks about Arnold Schwarzenegger. like he used to make love to himself in the gym.
Wow.
And I'm going to tie this in. So it's pleasure, it's
Yeah.
love, it's enjoyment. It's like this sacred, juicy time it's just for you. And think about all the things that I just described. It was all like, I'm tingling right now. It's all in
Mm,
the body. None of it's up
yeah.
here. Like, yes, there's pleasure sensory things going off. Like, I'm sure there's some serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin, but our focus is here. Our focus isn't how can I appease this belief? How can I placate to this belief? Like, how can I get over this shame? It's like, no, 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 no. You have it all right here. Just
Yeah.
just
Yes.
feel. And on the other side, if you do that and it's triggering and you don't feel good, that's actually good too, because now you have an opportunity to sit with and become intimate with your body. How do you get a result from another person? You grow a really strong relationship with them, because then it's not coming from manipulation or coercion. It's like, hey, I'm going to get on the same side of the negotiating table with you now. So it's no different with the body. We must become really intimate. Well, how does that happen? Spending time. So I'm going to sound a little schizophrenic, but treat your body like it's another person for a second. How do I get this other person, or how do I form this deep relationship where there's love flowing back and forth? You spend time with them. Look at the five love languages, and
Yeah.
think about which ones are yours, and then give that to your body. If it's quality time, go spend some time with yourself. If it's words of affirmation, look in the mirror, and even if you don't believe it at first, start saying what you want.
You love it. It's funny because I have audios for my clients and they've all done this exercise where we treat money as if it were your lover, right? If money was your lover, would it want to have sex with you? Or are you ignoring it? Are you, criticizing it, saying, "Where are you? You're never home." Like, so it's like we talk to money
Yes,
like it's a lover. So you're talking about talking to your muscles and your body as your lover.
yes, a
I
hundred
love that.
percent. And even more than that, because if it's hard to like think about, I do take that analogy, and because like this is really applicable when people ask, well, I ate healthy for a week, why didn't I see 20 pounds come off? And it's like, okay, what you're talking about in a romantic partnership, let's say your lover cheats on you and
Right.
he like tosses you a rose. You're not coming back. What if he writes you one letter? That's nice, but you're not coming
I
back.
love this.
What if he like, and I'm using the he pronoun, but please
Yeah.
substitute with whatever is applicable for the people listening. Um, and then I like list out, what if he does this, 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 this? Okay, then maybe I'll give him another chance. Well, our body is the scorned lover and is saying,
Totally.
she's
Oh,
like, I don't trust you yet. You've
yeah.
been like treating me like garbage. So
Yeah.
let me see what you do. And then maybe I'll give you a little bit of what you want. I'll drop a little bit of this weight. I'll ease back on the inflammation.
Right. Well, and that makes me think of too, like, even if I'm spending a month, 2 months, just really, really, making attempts to get in shape, that's and to be in the energy of like, oh, well, that's not enough. Nothing's happening. That's like if your lover were to be like, here, let me give you a massage, let me do all these things, and you just being like, I don't feel anything. Like just being totally
Totally.
unappreciative,
Totally.
totally out of sync.
But now if can I take it in another direction though?
Yeah.
If we look at it now from a place of like something that I feel is more intrinsic, because later on in life we develop romantic partnership, but when we're like little kids, we're not thinking about that. So think about like your body this way. I think one of the frequency things, or like one of the questions, how does a fit person think about their body? Is that
Yeah,
one?
that was my next question.
Okay,
How does a fit
beautiful.
person think about their body?
So a fit person recognizes the power, how powerful their body is. They when they think of their body, they think of all the incredible things it's capable of. But even through that, why is it so powerful and why is it so capable? Because it loves you. Because it is the only entity, it is the only being. Maybe there's a couple others like your parents or your husband or wife, but it's one of the only that will do absolutely anything for you.
Mm.
This thing will do anything to keep you safe. It will do anything to give you peace. It will do anything for you. It will go to the ends of the earth for you. And it's been there for you since day one, and it will be by your side until the day you leave this earth. It will always be in your corner, and it was and will always be your very first home. You know, you
Oh,
have this is your first home. This is my second home. San Diego is my third home. America is my fourth home. The planet Earth is my fifth, you know, so on. This is your
yeah.
first home. This is so
Yeah.
now thinking about that, thinking about somebody, if you again separate it, this is like my best friend. This is the one person, the one entity that will always be my corner in my corner, will always have my back, will always give me a place to return home to. When you think of a person like that, how could you ever, ever do anything but love that person? How could
Yeah.
you do anything other than be obsessed with and have that person's back and be on that person's team and always be listening? Always be listening. What do you need? What do you need? I got your back. You're a queen. What do you need? What's going on? Okay. All right. We're going here. Okay. Let your body lead.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of that, so you tested the loyalty and the love of your body by you purposely gained, I think it was 18 pounds of fat on purpose. So
Yeah.
that was what ultimately got my attention, and that was what told me that you were the real deal, because I find that I often look at, there's someone who's, fit and someone who's not. And sometimes it feels like some of the people who have only ever been fit ever sometimes maybe aren't quite as in touch with the vibration that people are in at the beginning of their process. And so I have a question here. What was my question for you? Oh, so what did you learn about the frequency of fitness through this purpose? So, how did gaining that weight affect your vibration and your ability to say, yes, I'm here, or feel like your body is saying, I'm here for you? And did it take more than diet and exercise to find your way back to your current level of fitness?
Yeah. So the context, let's lay out really quick. I gained 18 pounds on purpose for two objectives. Number one, I wanted to, like you just said, basically, I wanted to be more viscerally in touch with what my clients were experiencing when they were going through their weight loss journeys. And number two, I wanted to loosen my attachment that my value and my worth was only caught up in the way I looked. First of all, I'm a woman living in this society. So, number one, we have a lot of pressure to look a certain way, and our value is partially placed on the way we look. That's kind of where we're at in society.
Right.
Number two, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a fitness coach. I used to joke, like, I think I've said this to you, my six pack is my resume, right? So, how I look translates to, can I keep a roof over my head, right? Can I pay my bills? Because that's like the trust factor. Like, okay, this person knows what she's talking about because look at the way she looks. So I wanted to loosen that and think about, okay, I also have a brain. I also have a big heart. I have these other things I can offer. And those have a place here too. And those are part of my value just as much. So there's the premise, those two things. Um, what I learned was probably different than maybe what you want to hear, but I learned that, like, because I had done so much work and because I was fit for so many years and it's so tied into my identity of
Yeah.
who I always believe I am, it it was really easy to lose the weight because it was going back to my default. Like, it was going, like, it's my default and it's my normal to eat healthy and enjoy healthy food. It's my normal to enjoy exercise. It's the opposite, like, to be stagnant and to not move my body and to, like, feed it with lots of chemicals and craziness.
Right.
So what do I always do is I try to flip it around because that's where we're going to learn. So flip that around. Someone who's overweight and is trying to lose weight for maybe the first time or the third time or the eighth time in their life and just haven't been successful long term, that person's default is to be in a more unhealthy state or a more stagnant or at a heavier weight,
Mm.
whatever you want to call it, right? So what is it that's so easy for them to, like, go back to that, just like it was so easy for me to go back to my own default, and then, like, reverse engineering the whole thing.
Right. Identity. So I saw a post you made recently or however long ago where you said identity trumps discipline every time or something
Mm,
to that effect.
yes.
So part of the reason why it was your default to be in shape, to be in a high level of fitness is because that's
Yes.
your identity. You have identity around that. So how can a person create that identity maybe for the first time or rediscover that identity? What kind of, if someone steps into your energy, your frequency, then they're going to believe that that's their identity, that that's their default zone. If I held those beliefs every day, I'd move into that fitness frequency. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
beautiful. So it is knowing first and foremost that it is your birthright. It's your inherent birthright to be fit and healthy. That is your birthright, is to be strong, to have muscle tone, to be agile, to be a sleek, smooth panther moving about this
Yes.
world, and to feel capable and agile and beautiful. That is
Mhm.
your birthright. That's the basement.
Mhm.
We've gotten away from that, right? Okay, this person has gotten away from this. So let's go back to something that they can tangibly like hold to at a time when they were fit and there was an isness about that. So oftentimes it's when we're really little. Oh yeah, like that's, and sometimes it's later. Sometimes someone's like, oh yeah, I was like a cheerleader in high school and I played lacrosse and it was just like easy. I didn't even think about it. Like, so we hearken to that time. And then we look at what is like fighting against that belief. What did you like pile on in the journey of life along the way that's now like running up against that? Because that's what happens. There's a trigger and it's like a protector within you rises up, and we never want to blow that protector out because it's just doing its job. We want to love that protector, give it a place at the table to speak. And we always want to do small steps. I always do this. Like, we never want to like open our protectors and flood this new belief in,
Right.
because that's very scary for the system. That can be very jarring for, our central nervous system. So small steps. So we open a little bit. Here are the two soldiers, right? And we just like we like bring it in a little bit. Oh yeah, I was 3 years old and I was like really healthy and fit and skinny. Okay,
Yeah.
feel into that, and then like be somatic about it. Okay, like the floor is still beneath me, the walls aren't shaking, I'm safe. Like really going to basics of safety.
Yeah. I love that. One of the things that when you say that, it reminds me like I was just at a San Diego Wave soccer game the other night. I've never actually been to a soccer game. It was my first time, but it was
Oh,
young, like probably women in their 20s. And my good friend and I, we were athletes in college, high school. And I remember seeing them. We got to go like, I don't know what you call backstage at a soccer game, but we basically got to go see where they walk out. And she and I were both just like almost emotional. We were just like, oh my gosh, like that's right. Like being an athlete is like such an identity for me too. But all the stuff builds up over it. Like, okay, as soon as I went to law school, it's like, okay, I got to do this. And then there's this identity and this identity. And I have to swap, gym for and all of these stories. But when I was there, I was like, no, I remember when this was really, really easy. When this just was. Like
mhm.
this was just a baseline. And since I did that, I've been doing more workouts, not because I think I have to, but because it just feels so good. It just feels so
Yeah,
me, you know?
that's it. It feels good because it feels like you're coming home to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And I
awesome.
think I mean, all of us, like you said, as kids, we're just out playing all day. We're not thinking like, oh, okay, heart rate's getting a little high. I'm going to go call it, call it a
Totally.
day.
Totally. Yeah, we're not there. We're in
Yeah.
flow.
And
Hmm.
one of the other things that kind of comes to mind too is that I've shared with you that last year I struggled with a bunch of injuries. So I gained a lot of weight last year because I was out for, for some injuries. And as soon as you and I started talking about the frequency of fitness, I realized I was like, I am bringing the vibration I'm bringing into the gym is like, okay, don't get hurt, don't get hurt. Oh, this hurts, this hurts, this hurts. Like, oh, when is this over? Like I realized I was like, I am bringing a bad attitude into the gym. Like I'm not going to get the better results that way. Like just because I'm doing all the things, my mind is informing my body, I don't like this. I'm still hurting. And so even just with a decision to do so, I was able to kind of snap out of that and just start to say, just think better thoughts when I was there. Like what does feel good? Let's focus on that.
Yep. Yeah, so it's about holding both, recognizing that that is there for a reason. There's some fear there because the body is trying to protect you. So that's
Mhm.
good. Pay attention to it. But sometimes, yes, it's working with outdated, not quite accurate current information.
Yeah.
And so then the other component of that is I just lost it.
No, you know what's you're right though, because it did serve a purpose. I was in a lot of pain last year, doing a lot of energy work and all that stuff too, but very limited. And so I just kind of got into the identity of girl with a knee injury.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
and so I
totally.
even have found myself, well, like I have to call myself out because I'll slack and I'll just be like, oh, I have a knee injury. And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't have the knee injury anymore. Like maybe every once in a while it'll be a little off, but it's not. Like it's just I just have to
Yeah.
stop being I cemented in that identity and I used it to slack. And it's just interesting how just noticing like what's the vibration I'm bringing into the gym? Like
Mhm.
and how you can even just paying attention to it and calling yourself out is just so helpful.
Yeah, I remember based on what you said, thank you so much. Calling yourself out, but it's always about holding both, right? Like there is that level of accountability and being honest and aware of like the observer behind your thoughts, but then also like being really like careful of the wording and like are you exuding any shame still and any guilt? Like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm being lazy, oh, like I should know better. I'm identifying with it. Like really being careful and just always remember I talked about like your body always has your back, so always have your body's back. Like,
Mhm.
oh, I completely always have your back. I mean, your body, you have your back. Like, I see why I'm scared. I see why I'm making excuses right now. That makes perfect sense. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm really smart. I'm amazing. I'm doing my very best. I'm a badass. And
Yes.
like, that's it. End of story. Mind your business. Like, we're over here figuring us out and we're going to
Yeah.
get there when we get there and it's okay, you know?
Yes, I love that.
Like
Well,
it's
so
this fierceness. It's like replace the shame with like a fierceness, you know? Like, no, I'm okay. Like there's
yeah.
nothing wrong with like what I'm thinking right now. Okay, go
Well,
ahead.
no, and then that brings me into another question I had. You can tell my questions are formulated based on TikToks of yours that I have seen. Um, because you have a TikTok that talks about how it's better to be in your dark feminine energy at the gym versus your masculine. So in the instance of what we were just talking about, like, you could go in your masculine and be like, I'm not hurting, I'm fine, like let's
Yep,
push through.
yep.
So what's the difference between that dark feminine energy in the gym versus the masculine energy in the gym?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because it's like the perfect segue right now. Um, and I'm being trite by like sectioning off these two categories because it's everyone undulates between the two, but
Uh-huh.
most typically we'll associate the masculine with the mind and we'll associate the feminine with the body. So when we're in our dark feminine, not only are we extremely in tune with what's going on, now we're in a place of safety. So it's scared, the body gets really scared when you're all in your head, when you're all in your and you're like, it's Nike, just do it. You can't get the butt you want by sitting on it. No pain, no gain. You know that old way of fit. It's like the old way of fitness, right? It's like just do it, like go for it, like f your emotions. It's all about like no, like just like eye on the prize and sacrifice whatever you need to do to get there. The body gets terrified because what you're now saying is, I'm not going to listen to you. But if you are
Mm.
deeply in tune, like you, Jackie, if you're deeply in tune with your body and your knee the entire time you're working out, you won't, it's highly unlikely you'll get injured because you will notice the nanosecond that something feels off and you'll stop. Versus
Oh,
if you're up here in your head, you're like, I gotta go for it. Then you're
right.
notice when something happens, when your body warns you, you're not going to be paying attention and then you're going to get injured. So, of course, the body tries to protect when you go into that masculine state. The other thing that's great about dark feminine energy in the gym and outside of it is and everyone's got different balances of masculine and feminine. So, different things will feel different for people. But I'll speak for myself. It's a deep space of resourcing. So, a fit person will find resourcing in their exercise time. If someone is in their masculine, if they're in their head and the whole time they're working out, they're running themselves down, they're feeling like, oh, you're so fat, like this is embarrassing. Why are you here? Or you're so far behind your goal. You thought by this month you'd be here and you're here. That's exhausting. But if you're in your body and you're communing with yourself, that is deeply, deeply resourcing. And that's what the dark feminine is all about.
Oh, this is brilliant. I love this. I love this. Um, the so I have a couple of clients who they're where they are feeling a little bit, I mean, we'll say blocked, but is um just not getting to the gym at all. So is there a certain vibration? Is there something that you can offer somebody vibrationally about that might make that feel more fun or that
Mhm.
might help with them even getting off the couch? Or do they have to get off the couch?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
according to her app, you don't.
yeah. Totally. Um, yeah, so in the beginning, when we're trying to shift into a new habit, we do have to exert more discipline. And this is actually, I have this 12 module course that I take my VIP clients through, and this is the very last module, and it's called Pleasure and Sustainability. So I urge them to look at the ratio of discipline versus pleasure. So, and pleasure is tied into identity, right? We kind of talked about. If you're really enjoying something, just like you said, when you're like playing soccer and you're really enjoying it, you're not thinking about your heart rate going up and
Right.
stopping. When you're really enjoying something, there, discipline, like, is that even a thing? You are in the flow of the enjoyment of the thing. So you don't have to discipline yourself to do it. You just want to do it. And if
Yeah.
you enjoy working out, you're going to want to just go do it. Now, somebody who hasn't worked out for a while, having that objectivity of like, okay, my body's just going to crave whatever I'm giving it most of. I mean, listen, after like 1 week of watching some dumb sitcom every night before I go to bed, all of a sudden I'm craving that sitcom. I'm like, this wasn't even in my life a month ago, and now I can't live without it. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, so in the beginning, more discipline is necessary, but we have to make it very discerning discipline. It's not like this gung ho, turn off all my sensations and just do the thing. It's like, check in, like, listen to the protectors. I'm scared, I'm in pain, I'm like worried about this. And like, listen to everybody. You have this whole committee in your being. Like, you have all these inner children who have all these things to say. Let them all state their opinion, and always know that you have other options. So you can listen to everything, that all the fears that come up, or all the reasons why you should be lazy and not do it, not go to the gym. And then also think about, okay, but maybe there's another option that I would think, if I quantum leaped into the future and I'm already fit, I would probably be thinking something differently right now in this
Mm.
position. What would that be? And then feel into, like, is there fear there? Why does that scare me? Don't perseverate too long, and then take action a little bit. Let the protectors, like, just give them a little bit and feel into how that feels. Okay, that was scary because it's unknown, but now it's not scary.
Mhm.
And then take another step and another step. So, in other words, and like in another way of saying it, start really small and start with something that's as pleasurable as possible, so you can make that leap from the ratio being a lot of discipline and not a lot of pleasure to like being like this. And
Yeah.
eventually you're not going to need the discipline because you're identifying with it and you're finding joy in it each day.
100%. And I love that because, like I said, I was injured last year and I've been working out a lot lately. And even it's just been, it takes a few months to kind of remember sometimes, but even just this week I was working out and I was just like, oh, it's so much easier too when you do feel stronger when you've been doing it every day. And it's just like
Yep.
you look forward to it. Um, Last week I downloaded, so Leanne has a new app that is the coolest. I'll have her talk about it in a minute, but there is a meditation for abs in this app. What's it called? Meditation for abs?
I think so, for building abs. Yeah. I can look
Yeah.
it up if you
So
want.
I was like, let's do this. So I put on the meditation for abs, and she basically just like walks you through, like, all right, what is it feeling like? Imagine yourself doing this move. Imagine yourself feeling this, doing that. And
Shredded abs
Medit
meditation.
shredded abs meditation, that's right. And so, when I was doing the meditation, it just brought me back to some of the times when I did have my most fit abs. When I was a volleyball player, we had to do the lean back and set all the time, and I was
Yep.
like, "Oh, that just feels so good." I forgot how good that feels when you're really in it and you're enjoying it, and,
Yeah.
sometimes it can take a little while, a little discipline before the burn feels good, but
Yes.
but when you get there, it feels so good. And so the meditation brought me into that good ab burn. And so this whole week, like, I've gone to Pilates more because I'm like, I just was in the vibration of like, oh yeah, that's right. I love that.
Yes, yes. And don't be afraid if it's an app, if it's a new workout outfit, if it's a I have my best friend is obsessed with sparkly water bottles, and that's what excites her to go to the gym.
Yes.
It's like, I'm a more of a minimalist. I'm not going to buy a new water bottle every time I need to be inspired, but like, don't have any shame around what it is that jazzes you up. Just cling on to something in the beginning. It doesn't, who cares like how silly it seems? Like if it makes you feel good and it gives you what you just talked about, that tinge of joy and pleasure, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, that feels good. That's what you get to like chase, is just like
Yes.
pleasure.
Yeah, so let's talk about the app. So she has a brand new app. Tell us about your app, and because there's a 7-day free trial right now, so there's
Yes.
no reason not to go download it.
Yeah.
Tell us about your app.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's in the Apple Store. It's in Google Play. So Androids, iOS, app iPhones, and it's on. You can download on any tablet as well. It's called Exquisite, but I spelled it a little differently. There it is. It's there. It is. Ah, love it. I love it. Thank you. It's EXQUISET. Like instead of the normal way, the real way exquisite is spelled, the word. It's like the last part of it is like set, like sets and reps, like the set of an exercise. So exquisite. And
I'll
I
put a
chose
link
that
to it
word.
in the YouTube
Okay, cool. I
box.
chose the title because I believe that all of your moods and all of your emotions are exquisite, and everything you're going through, the pain, the hurt, the beauty, the joy, it's all perfect. It all gets to be here and it's all exquisite and we get to celebrate it. So it is the world's first mood-based workout app. So you get to choose your workout based on your mood and your goal. So if you're like, okay, I want to build a peach booty and I'm feeling lazy, there's workouts for that. So
Yes.
there's 7 mood verticals. There's a lazy mood vertical. There's a sad, yep.
Yeah.
There's a
I
sad
love it.
one.
The first thing you choose is like, okay, I'm feeling what? What am I feeling? It's feeling
I'm feeling,
myself. I'm feeling lazy. I'm feeling powerful. I'm feeling sad, stormy, hyper, beautiful. And then there's just within each how you're feeling, there's like somewhere
yeah.
between 8 to 10 different
There's
workouts,
yeah,
all different lengths.
there's 7 workouts per vertical. There's 7 verticals. So there's 49 workouts right now. And I plan to add new ones every single month and new series too. Like within the I'm feeling myself series, because
Yeah.
that's the sexy one. I'm feeling myself. Like that's like sexy, confident, you know. Within that, there's a series, and I call it the baddie series. So it's like all these pop culture references to what it means to be like a baddie. So like
Yes.
one workout's called like slide in my DMs, and it's like a lot of sliding, like ab slides and like
Oh, love it.
then the sad vertical has a series within it called the Still I Rise series. So in some of the sad workouts, I wear this like baggy black shirt the whole time, and the workouts are a little bit slower pace to match, to like meet you where you're at. Like, hey, I get you, I get how you're feeling right now. We're gonna make this workout like line up with, we're not going to try to change you and make you feel like rah rah rah, because that's fake and authentic, and now you're going against your body, and we don't want to do that because your emotions are tied to your intuition. So let's feel your sadness and be with it. That's totally normal as a human being to feel sad sometimes, and let's still get a great workout in, so you can be sad and hot. How about that?
Yes, I love that. And didn't you tell me that there's some workouts that you can do on the couch?
Yeah, so the lazy series, I filmed like most of it on a couch in the studio with PJs on. and like
Perfect.
and like there's this one work. So actually my best friend just texted, there's one workout called Done and Done. Like, because when you're lazy, you're just like, I just want to be done. I just
Right.
14 minutes, like they're all a little bit shorter than the other ones.
I
And
love it.
you don't even have to get off your couch. And there's literally like a move where you're like lying like this. It's an upper body workout, and it's just like shoulder raises. And then there's
Yes.
like another one where you're like on a stability ball on your couch and you're just like doing kickbacks, and they're really effective, but they're fast, they're quick. So it's like easy breezy lemon squeezy is one, and like Sunday sweatpants is the name of another workout.
I can't wait for you to get like the analytics on like who's doing what. I can see that in all my stuff. And I can't wait for you to be like, everyone is feeling lazy. Like, I can't wait to see what the most popular ones are.
So it's so great that you said that, because this isn't what you're talking about. That's going to be way cooler. But on my stories, I've already been like taking polls on Instagram, be like, hey, what mood would you choose today if you're like going to work out? And like everyone said lazy. Like there are a few other ones. But yeah,
Well, I love that because, even if somebody has, like, a constant affirmation of, like, "Oh, I'm just too lazy to work out, I'm too lazy."
totally.
If you can just meet them there, have them ease in with 8 minutes, 10 minutes.
Totally.
What I find too, I make short meditations. I have some long ones, I have some short ones, but I make a lot of short meditations for my clients because a lot of the time we don't feel like meditating. So for
Totally.
instance, my 10-minute client attraction meditation, I think is my most popular meditation. I'm almost certain. And it's because people can just go in. And what I find for myself is that every time I do it, it takes me that 10 minutes and then I'm in my vibe and then I play it again and I play it again. So I almost always play that 3 times in a row, doing a half hour of a meditation, but I needed the gateway taste of just knowing that I only needed to do it for 10 minutes.
Yes, you're so right. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So
Um,
good. But
I'm so
I don't,
excited, yes, for people to find this.
oh yeah, I don't want to deter people who do love to work out hard and do like, and are, like I haven't felt sad in a year. Like people who are
Yeah.
just like happy and positive and like, trust
Yeah.
me, like the beautiful vertical, the stormy, and the powerful.
Well, and I
The
like this.
powerful is great because it's,
Oh,
what?
sorry. I was gonna say, I like that I'm feeling myself. Like, how fun is that? Like, because there's so many
So
people
good.
too who like, what if someone just is feeling themselves? Like, be in a
Totally.
place where there's no shame about that. I mean, women get so
Yes.
much crap about like getting all dolled up for the gym or being whatever fitness Barbie. Like, the people
Yes.
take a lot of shit for that. But like,
Yes.
how cool is it that like, hey, that's how I feel.
Yeah,
So,
I wanted to create specific workouts for like it's Friday and you're like you have a date that night and you just want to feel your best. Like you want to feel sexy. So I want to like create workouts for that and I did. And like there's little like you'll notice little details. First of all, at the top of each vertical, I have a 2-minute video where I'm getting people in the vibe of that. So like
yeah.
the stormy one, I'm just like, are you PMSing? Are you just so angry at the world? Everybody better give you 50 feet. Like they better get out of your way. Like, and like just
Perfect.
stormy, like just irritated. And then there's like, and then like for the, wait, I lost what I was going to say. What
Oh,
did you,
that's okay. I
one
love that.
last,
Well, but what I was thinking
oh,
for oh, go ahead.
it's not even really, there's little details that you'll notice. Like in the, I'm feeling myself, I'm wearing like a pop of lip color and I have like gold earrings
That
on.
was my question that I was just gonna ask. Are you wearing, like, a club dress to go to Vegas and just being like, "Okay."
I want it to be like subtle because at the end of the day, like I'm not, it's not about me. Like I don't want to distract people from getting a great workout in, but I
Yeah,
want to like have subtle cues. Like I get you, I see you, I'm with you. Like I didn't do this for Stormy, but I really want to for my next series for Stormy, which is I want to wear a hoodie, like a black hoodie with the hood up and
yeah.
like the whole workout, like with a hood on, just to really like encapsulate that. And I'm trying to think what I did for powerful because powerful is like CEO boss vibes. Like there's a workout called glass ceilings, so it's like a lot of like
Love
punching.
that.
It's upper body. So
I love that too. So, like, if a person kind of identifies like that, that'll be a good one, and also if someone is not feeling powerful, but they want to, they can move into
yes,
that by doing that.
right. Same thing with like the beauty. Oh, you're good. The same thing with the beautiful. So all my like girls in North County here in San Diego love the beautiful because it's all like one workout's called Mama Gaia and one's called Star Seed and one's
Oh,
like
very
called
spiritual,
My Body is Dope and like dope, pretty dope soul. And like, just like, it's very
very North County.
yeah. And it's
Yes,
like,
I love
if you
that.
want to feel that way, like, there you
Yeah,
go.
I love that, and so there's also something for stretching, and then there's also
Yeah.
meditations.
Stretching, guided meditations. There's 7 meditations right now. I'm going to add more next month. There's tracking, easy progress tracking. Like you can like check your mood each day. You can check other things, how many workouts you've done. And there's a community. So introduce yourself, ask me questions. I'm in there every day answering questions. So yeah, you're all set up.
I love it, and most of the people watching know that I also have the body upgrade sessions where if you wanna clear all those blocks, clear the energies, so that you can kind of just be a clean, clear space to go create something new, step into those new frequencies. We've got all kinds of resources for you, so that's why I'm just super excited you wanted to do this with me because I think sometimes people we just all need to remember that frequency. We just need to remember that vibration. So, let's end with I have a question for you.
Yes.
What do you love about being fit?
I feel free.
Cool.
I feel free. I feel like life can be really challenging. Life can be hard. And I feel more capable. Um, handling life on a daily basis from the space of a fit, capable body. I feel as though when I have my body's back, it has mine. If it feels a different way, I know that it's just feedback. Like if I'm in pain, if I suffer an injury, that's actually neutral biofeedback. And I'm getting information transmitted to me. So, what I love is that feeling or being fit feels like I have this open, clear channel of communication at all times with my biggest asset, which is my body. I mean, my body and my mind.
Yeah. I
So,
love this. And that's why I call you a breath of fresh air in the fitness industry. I've been to fitness competitions and sometimes I can't even be in that energy of how much is going on in those rooms. That's a whole nother interview we could do.
we could
But the
totally,
energy
girl, you want to, yeah.
the energy in those rooms sometimes I'm like, wow, there's a lot of junk in here. There's a lot of unfelt stuff in here. There's a lot of patterns. There's a lot of programs that people are really trying not to feel. Your
Lots of
approach.
trauma. Lots of
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your approach says, "Let's not try to not feel that. Let's just work with this
Yeah.
body. This
And
body's already
always,
perfect."
yeah, and always like get curious instead of judging others, ourselves. We're not judging the bodybuilders, we're
Right.
curious. We're not judging ourselves. We're just,
No.
oh, I'm curious. Why is this happening? Why is this coming up?
Right, and so that's why I love your approach. It's just like, "Hey, guys, FYI, we're already perfect. Like, let's just let the body be perfect. Let's
Yes.
let ourselves just be there so we can love our life." It's not just about, looking good or being healthy. It's just about this is the vessel that you get to enjoy life from. This is the vessel that you
Yes.
get to feel peace from. You get to make money from. You get to experience relationships from. It starts fitness to me is like the first priority because without health and fitness, every other area of your life is gonna be affected. So
Love it. My
so
whole body
thank
is
you so
tingling.
much.
I'm like, oh, it's so good. I feel like our exchange is like back and forth and back and forth, and like I'm giving you a little, and then you give it back, and it feels so good. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's my intention. I wanted to help everyone listening to get into the frequency. There's just thoughts you can align with, there's beliefs you can align with, there's certain emotions that, what Leanne has so graciously guided us through is that like, no, it's not about getting into a high vibe. It's just about getting into the frequency of fitness. How does a fit person think? How does a fit person think about food, exercise? How do they feel? And I love everything you shared with us. So thank you so much for doing this.
you're so welcome. Thank you, Jackie, for having me. I so appreciate it.